Cesar Chavez was born near Yuma, Arizona in 1927. Before he founded the National Farm Workers Association, workers had no way to protect themselves. They had the longest hours, the lowest wages, harshest conditions, shortest lifespans, and least power of any group of workers in America. "We had never thought," Chavez said, "that we could actually have any say in our lives. We were poor, we knew it, and we were beyond helping ourselves." After the Walk to Sacramento, the longest protest in U.S. history, Chavez was known to many as a hero. To show his continuing commitment to the La Causa, he would occasionally stop eating. His hunger strikes would attract publicity around the world. Flying black eagles began to be printed on grape boxes from the few companies that offered contracts, and much of the public learned to avoid the others. It took 5 years of fasting by Chavez, of jail time for him and other leaders, of marches, picketing, and bargaining before most of the largest Delano grape owners gave in. Millions of pounds of grapes had rotten, costing growers more than $25 million. It was the first successful agricultural strike in the U.S. history. Contracts promised better wages, health insurance, and other safeguards. 45 minutes after he signed the last of the grape contracts, Chavez was already organizing a strike of lettuce workers elsewhere in California. Putting in 18-hour days, always on the move, he won many more fights on behalf of migrants, including the banning of the short-handled hoe, which had caused permanent back injury to thousands of workers. Chavez credited his mother's teaching as a chief influence. He also took the strength from his religious faith, his Mexican heritage, and his heroes, like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who was the leader of the African-American civil rights movement. Also, Gandhi, who led the nonviolent fight for India's independence from Great Britain. Chavez's wife, Helena, provided a lot of help and support, as did his 8 children, other family members, and loyal co-workers. In 1993, after a hunger strike lasting 36 days, Chavez never fully regained his strength. He died, unfortunately, in his sleep at the tender age of 66. A crowd many times larger than the one that had greeted him in Sacramento attended his funeral in Delano. Chavez was, and still is, very controversial, especially among those resistant to change. He had many enemies and received constant death threats. Even today, some argue about him and his goals, and others have forgotten him, and some have never even heard of him. But many continue to see him as a hero, for his utter sincerity, compassion, his belief that peaceful dedication to a cause is more effective than force and violence, and his self-sacrifice in the face of overwhelming odds.